Alright guys, this is Matt Morozic, aka MVM397, and I'm working on Sinanju, and I want to show you how I fix a mess up, because I just messed up pretty good on this. So I was working on the fuel tanks, getting those magnetized and such, just like that. And in here, in the back, so those come out in and out easily. Well, I was working on the other one and my magnets broke off inside of the kit, and those are glued in. Those are not coming out. So I have two options. I could try to dig that magnet out, which would destroy this piece and all this, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave that there. And what I'm doing is, here's the fuel tank right here where it busted off. You can see here that it lost its connection point. So what it does, I drilled holes all the way through, and I just put, these are 3/16 diameter magnets. So I just drew a hole all the way through, and I added about 4 magnets in there. And now what I'm doing is I'm actually making a sleeve to go over this spot where it broke off. And then I'm making a new connection, I guess, rod. So I have some of this tube. I'm not sure exactly what size it is. Let's see if it's on here. This is 5/16 round tubing. And what I did is, first of all, I drilled a hole in the center. I made the hole bigger, just like the original size hole. It's actually smaller than that. Drilled a hole about 1/4 of an inch, which almost got it to slip over this. I wanted to slip over this just a little bit. So this is going to be actually glued permanently onto here. And once it gets all together, it's not going to look bad because I'm going to actually paint this. So I drilled a 1/4 inch hole, and then I went in there with my X-Acto knife, and I just kind of made the opening a little bit bigger just on this one end. Let's see if it'll focus. So I just kind of went in there and I just lightly took my X-Acto blade like this and made it a little bigger, and then I went with the Dremel in there and just smoothed it out. So now that end of this little tube will actually slip over this a little bit and give me a bigger gluing surface. So once that's in there, I took some of that same tubing and I drilled my 3/16 hole right there. And I've been sanding this down in order for it to fit inside here, and now it does. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off right here, longer than I need it. And we'll try to do this on camera. Let me get this out of the way since I'll be working with glue. I don't want to get glue on him. My workbench is, again, it's a mess. When I get going, stuff gets thrown everywhere. So I'm just going to cut that off for now. And I got some sanding sticks here. I'm just going to sand this smooth a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm actually going to glue it over these magnets. But hold on, it looks like this hole's not quite big enough all the way through, so I'm going to go ahead and drill it. So I want to make sure it goes on those magnets really well. So I got 3/16 drill bit in my drill, and I'm just making sure this hole is the right size. Okay, so now this should fit over these magnets, and it's a snug fit, which is okay. But what I still want to make sure is that before I do any gluing, that this is going to actually slide over that, and it does. So this will be glued to the kit, to the backpack, this part right here, permanently. And then this will be the new connection rod, and it'll slide in there with the magnets, and with that it'll hold. So so I screw up all the time, guys. I don't claim to. I screw up all the time, and it's just learning how to fix it. And this is one of those things where I did it. It's like I just yelled OF as loud as I could because I didn't know how I was going to handle it. I thought I could just glue some magnets on the end of here and it would work, but there's too much weight at the end and it wouldn't support it. So you really need a rod. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to glue this on top of the magnets like this, and then I'll sand it down flush. So let me get a little bit of glue. And this is going to go over here. I'm just going to slide that down. I don't care if it oozes out, because I'm going to clean it up a little bit with a Q-tip. this. And actually, we get a paper towel so I can get in there a little bit better. So again, guys, I screw up all the time. It's just learning how to fix those mess ups and taking the time and the effort to do it. And if you mess something up and you really don't know how to fix it right away, just walk away. Because I've done it too. I screwed something up and I'm like, oh crap, and I try to fix it and I'm not really sure I'm going to do it yet, and I make it worse. So I actually thought of this when I was downstairs eating my kids' dinner, because I screwed up. Like, oh crap, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I just walked away and did something else for 15-20 minutes, and then the solution kind of came to me. So we're gonna got some kicker on that. We're gonna let that just set up. Here's my other little part that's going to go on the back of the backpack. Before I do that, I want to make sure that this isn't too long. So I'm going to sand. I'm going to sand this down to the magnet, and that should be set up with that CA. So we're just sanding this down flush to the magnets. If you notice here, it actually goes on a little crooked, and it's designed to do that. They both these kind of go on a little bit of an angle, so that the fuel pods kind of kick out a little bit, so they're not just straight off the back. So that's okay. We got a lot of sanding dust. I've been sanding this tubing for about 30 minutes, just trying to get everything to fit together. So here's an example of me screwing up and fixing it. I typically screw up the paint somehow. I'll scratch something, or I'll have lifting or something. Okay, so that's nice and flush. We get a sanding sponge. We're just going to smooth this out a little bit. Because I'm going to go back and I paint these parts of the fuel tanks some sort of metallic. I'm actually going to round off that edge a little bit. Make this edge right here, just going to bevel it just a little bit so it slides in easier. Okay, so now this is the tube that'll be on the back on the kit, and they'll slide right in there, and it feels pretty good. I'm actually gonna, I think we're good. Yeah, so now let's get the kit in here. So this is kind of gnarly looking, and that's going to be covered up, and then it'll get painted. But once that's glued on there, that'll give me a solid connection point to slide the fuel tank into. The only odd thing is that when the fuel tanks are out, there'll be that tube will be sticking off the backside here. But you know what? That's a lot better than me trying to dig that magnet out. I wouldn't be able to get it out without destroying. I would have so much work after that to try to get that magnet out. So yeah. If you're putting magnets in, first of all, make sure you have them the right orientation, and then also make sure this doesn't happen when something breaks off, because once the magnet is glued into resin, you're not going to get it out with creating a severe damage. So I just put that little sleeve on top of the tank, and I sanded it down flush so it's the right length. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, make sure this is, sorry, I'm doing a lot off the camera because I have to look at it closely. I'm just going to sand this a little bit of an angle. I'm going to get flatter. Okay, so I've got, this is going to go there. I'm actually getting my Dremel out. I'm going to bevel that edge just a little bit more. Just beveling this edge a little bit more right here. Let's see how that fits now. Yeah, I should have enough glue surface to glue that on pretty well. Okay, I'm gonna double, triple check, quadruple check everything before I glue that on, because I want to make sure that once that's on there, this is gonna slide out pretty easily. And it does. I'm probably gonna sand this down a little bit more, maybe a little thick, because it's, we'll see. So what happened was I was putting this in there and I was trying to rotate it, and when I did it, it snapped off, and I was like, crap. It was so frustrating because I had planned to do a bunch of other work tonight. I'll probably still do some more, but I planned on getting the decals on this and on the shield. I pretty much want to get as much done before I start doing all the hand painting on these metallic parts over here and stuff. Because my workbench is a complete disaster. I need to clean it up. Okay. Again, we're just always checking, making sure everything is going to jive and fit well. That's pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this on here. And hopefully my plan is going to work. It's going to work. I know it is. Okay, sorry, I'm out of camera again. So I think that's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue on here. Okay, so I put some glue on the inside of that tube. I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to put a little bit on here too. Feels like that's on there pretty good. Make sure it's semi-straight. Okay. I'm gonna throw a little kicker on it and we'll let that sit for a little bit. And again, it's not the ideal situation, but I would never get that magnet out of there if I try to dig it out. I would damage the kit so bad. I don't even want to think about it. Okay. I think that's good. Let's lock that in. Let that sit for a second. Let that glue set up. I'm gonna put that to the side for a second. I want to make sure that's really, really nice and locked in. While I do that, I'm actually gonna sand this this down a little bit. It's got a little too much friction for my liking, and I don't want to break anything off again. Then I'll be really screwed. So I'm just gonna thin this out a little bit more. It only needs to be slightly bigger than the diameter of the magnets. That glue should cure up in about 30 seconds to a minute. So at least the tanks will look similar. Those won't look too far off. Okay. Now I'm just gonna go in there and soak up this excess kicker that's around there. Okay. So this guy will go in here, and it fits good. Slight little friction, not too bad. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this goes in there. Oh man, like a glove. So, you know, it's not the most ideal situation, but it averted a very big crisis. That's going to work pretty good, actually. So now it supports the weight of the fuel tank, and they're even. I'm not in camera. Let me get in camera. I'm never in camera. But now they're even from the side, and I can rotate them a little bit to try to get them to line up. It's right in there. Yeah. So overall, considering what I did, I'm pretty happy with my fix. I think that's going to work pretty good. So there you go. I was pretty upset about 45 minutes ago. Not the happiest person, but I took the time. I just kind of thought about it. Again, once I paint that, I won't, you know, again, with it off, it's not the most attractive thing, but it fixes the problem. Like I said, if I try to dig that magnet out, I would destroy 3 pieces of resin, and then I would be really screwed. So this is the solution I came up with, and I think it'll work great. So that's it for tonight. No work in progress, just going through and fixing the problem. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.